So, welcome to my first episode of my podcast. I think it's going to be called Naked with. So, today we're getting naked with Khai. Khai is my friend.
Woo woo.
We've met in the Philippines about 3 years ago, I think, and ever since we've been talking
More than.
more. Yeah,
Yes.
something like that. I think it was about summer 2017, so long ago. So I'm gonna briefly, introduce the podcast idea. So it's gonna be called Naked. So my vision is to talk to people and them be honest about their experience as much as possible. I mean, there are obviously topics that are uncomfortable or banned or frowned upon to discuss. So whatever you're comfortable with, that is welcome. So, wanna introduce yourself? Like, tell us what you
Okay.
do.
Sige, sige, sige. Yes. Hello, guys. My name is Kai, and I DJ, and I sing, and I host, and I create. You know what I noticed about introducing myself? I used to say I'm a DJ, I'm a singer, I'm an artist, I'm a songwriter, but it's so static when you say you're that. So now I just say I love to sing, I love to create music. So it's an action word because that's exactly what I'm about, doing stuff. Doing stuff. But to summarize, I love to create. I love to um, inspire and uh, everything in between.
Okay, I see a guitar in your background.
Yes. Yes. Yes, I got back into guitar. I got back into playing music as well or writing songs. So yeah.
How's that going? When did you learn how to play the guitar?
I actually learned I ever since I was a kid, music has been really a part of um the household, and I just kind of it took the burner cuz of DJing. I'm very lucky that I got to travel the world, and especially Southeast Asia and the country because of DJing, but it also kind of took up most of my time and energy, and because of the pandemic, I got back into playing the guitar, and not in the most glamorous way because I was on the sleeping on the floor. Uh I was sleeping on the floor having really crazy anxiety attacks, and I just needed something to anchor me back into a
Hmm.
relaxed state, and playing the guitar does that for me. So, thank you, guitar. Thank you.
Yeah, I feel like during this pandemic, we have discovered a lot of hobbies, if not, extensive digital addictions and anxiety too. It's
Yes. Yeah. I think
go
we got
ahead.
to be mindful about the rabbit hole of, you know, uh being on social media too much because there's no distractions, and now we're adding distractions by being on our phones. Hell of a lot more.
That's my guilty pleasure and addiction at the same time, and also my work because it's hard to manage my screen time. And I've uh, tried so many things. Like, I've limited my screen time, I've blocked apps. Like, I deleted Instagram because I would say Instagram is my main distraction. But yeah, I've unfollowed everyone for time being because I found myself checking everyone's stories and posts instead of focusing on what I was doing. And then if you do it, if you start your day with it, and then at the end of the your time, you're like mindless scrolling, you're exhausted and have no energy to do your own things.
I noticed that, and I was thinking, man, how long did it take her to click unfollow with everyone? Just like scroll. But good thing it's easier because it's just one click, right? It's not.
Oh
Does it?
no!
Does it have confirmation? It would have been okay,
Oh no!
right?
Oh, I thought you meant like there's a button to unfollow everyone. No, there's like unfollow, unfollow. Yeah, I went through like my full list of friends to unfollow
Yep.
everyone. I hope no one got offended because I struggle with feeling guilty a lot, and then that was a very hard decision for me to like, oh, what if they think that I hate them now? But then I was like, it's for my own good, it's for my health, and that made it easier.
Yes. I think, yeah, that's another thing that I really realized during this pandemic because social media is one of the main connectors. Well, not one of the main, it has been the main connection tool that everyone's using since, lockdown and movement restrictions. Everyone's on their phone to just have a sense of connection to the outside world. And but at the same time you start noticing it's like your boundaries with people are blurred.
Hmm.
Parang you post something and then it's either it's either your boundaries with yourself spending so much hours online or boundaries of other people because you post your stories, because you post photos. There's two ways. People think that you're easily accessible because of your social media. And on the flip side, you yourself have to create boundaries of how you interact on social media. So yeah, like unfollowing. I mean, for me, I already from the when I noticed that, I was like, oh, okay, I get it. But the first thing that I realized was like, I wonder if pressing unfollow, you have to do the confirmation. Because for me, I remove followers.
Mm.
I like not I like I remove followers if they're not active on my profile or if they don't contribute to um how I want my social media to be. I remove
Hmm.
them. But for
Okay.
to remove followers, there's like a notifications like.
Okay.
But
How do
yeah,
you remove
that
followers?
was interesting. You just go to your followers tab and then it says
Oh.
there. I
Oh,
think so you
interesting.
can remove followers. Yeah.
Remove
So
everyone.
I've been removing. That's my rabbit hole. That's
Oh,
my
okay. Yeah.
rabbit hole. I remove followers.
I can, see myself easily get
No,
lost
no,
in it.
no.
No, you don't fit the profile.
Yeah,
It's
that could be another. Yeah, that's a rabbit hole as well.
it's interesting. I was recently listening to a podcast where parasocial relationships were discussed, and I was like, "What is parasocial relationships?" It's sort of, from my
Exactly.
understanding,
What
sort of
is it?
like the relationships. It's gonna be easier. So you're a streamer now, right? So this is sort of like relationships between a creator or a streamer with their audience, and how it can easily become, you know a shit show. Excuse me, but it's true because, like, at at some point, like, the line is, becomes blurry because of what you said, boundaries, right? So it's, I think, both sides, the viewer and the streamer, where like you need to establish sort of like your relationship, but then at the same time, so what was explained that uh, humans are social animals, right? So
Mm,
um, for example, like why it happens in a way is because, for example, as a follower view, from a follower's view,
mm,
there are like certain checks for friendship, right? Like talking to each other on a daily basis, like uh, being pretty open with each other, right? Like sharing experiences, for example, being honest, and then like having inside jokes. And then people think you're their friend. Or, like, for example, you get attached to your audience and talking to them as well. And then that's what
yeah.
gets confusing because all the checks are there. Like, we should be friends, but we're not. There's still, a wall of the internet between
Yeah,
us.
yeah, yeah,
So
exactly.
that's why it can get confusing for all, for both, streamer
Yes.
and um, followers. Are you taking notes?
Yes. Yes, I am. I am. Because I don't want to open another tab. It might ano to?
Ah,
Slow down the connection. But
okay.
yes, I it's so timely that you talked about that. What is it called? Parasocial
Relationship.
relationships. You know what? I think being in social media for, man, almost a decade now. That was a lot of soul searching for me, because 2017 was a black hole. That was a twilight zone for me, just having to push social media a lot, and just having to kind of define my worth in the industry by how many followers I had, but by what I did, because that was the easier route. When people ask, "Oh, what do you do?" "I'm a DJ. I'm a
Oh
singer.
yeah.
I'm this." And they're like, "Oh my god, that's so cool. Let me click a follow. What's your Instagram? What's your Facebook? Let me follow you." So there's, of course, that's why the word now is it's a familiar, I don't know, this word just started popping up. Clout.
Uh-huh.
Clout. That was such a, I mean, the only time I heard about that word is last year. Clout. I'm like, "What's clout?" "Oh, your clout, you know?" I'm like, okay. But that's why I'm starting to be, I'm really practicing being mindful about what I attach who I am to, or my identity. And it's very powerful when somebody said, you can have a lot of identities, but that's not who you are. So I'm me, and I love doing a lot of things. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's easy to, what's the word? Even evaluate yourself in a way that by the amount of your followers, right? Because when, for example, you discover someone on Instagram and you see, oh, they have like 50,000 followers, they're like, automatically you think that they're a cool person. That's so.
I think, you know what? I think we can't discount that there's a degree of um I wouldn't say cool, but there's a term that escapes me. Pero if there's 50,000 followers, or let's say on a YouTube video there's 100,000 views, there is like this awareness that 100,000 unique souls, 1,000 unique human beings saw you, gave you attention, or their energy was in that, you know, for 3 minutes or for 15 minutes, 15 minutes of their life,
Yeah.
they were tuned into you. So I think when we really want to identify what is that about, I think that's it. There's your consciousness was tuned into that person for this particular amount of
Mhm.
time. So I'm not sure if that's fame, if that's what you call fame. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's the
Well,
definition of fame.
it's the, I think, amount of attention you're attracting.
Yeah.
I've I've been, learning a lot about, okay, um, Instagram, like marketing strategy, and then learning how to grow your business there and how to monetize Instagram as well as YouTube. And then what they were saying is, even if you have like a small following on Instagram and you're worried about your insights, or like the amount of people who watch your stories on a daily basis, for example, it's only 100 people and you're worried about that, or you're worried about not growing, or you're like, 100 people, that's not, that's not enough, that's not like 1,000 people. It, it, what they said is like, imagine you're on stage and you're saying something, or like you're singing or dancing, or trying to get the message across, and there are 100 people in front of you. Even 20 people is a lot of people. And then it's
Yeah.
a crowd, right? And it's like, oh, if they start, dancing, listening, I mean, that sounds like start a cult. But no, but then if you imagine, like, if you're worried about the lack of um, engagement, that's the word, on your social media, just imagine that there are like, 20 people is a lot of people watching
Yeah.
you.
And it's that's something I think everyone who wants to explore being a content creator or being a live streamer, they really have to decide whether whether what their intentions are and what their goal is, cuz it's a very slippery slope.
Hi, Wilfred.
Wilfred,
I
what's
think
up?
Wilfred. I wonder what's her intention
I know.
right now.
It's a very slippery slope, and it's just interesting watching, the TikTok age, and there's a new generation of YouTubers coming out, and what their intention really is. What is your intention? Why? Why do you want to create that much? Why do you want to be present in the cyber or in the digital space? Why do you want the attention? Why do you want people to watch you? Why? Because if you look now, there's a lot of content creators out there. But I'm curious why you're there.
I think that's like a huge topic to discuss because I think, especially nowadays, with the growth of social media and also like young parents or children being on their phones at a very young age, uh, and they think that all the vloggers are such cool people because they're famous. That's what I forgot the word. Anyways, it's like it means if you're famous you're cool, right? And then there's also a generation of really lonely children that don't know how to build in real life social relationships. So it's of course easier to build relationships on your phone or over the internet when you don't have to deal with, in real life people's stuff, drama, or, being considerate towards their emotions. And well, that's too heavy for we're talking
I
about
know.
children, but still, I mean,
You can
they
just
think like, oh,
grab
famous.
whatever material you want to grab from that. But
Hmm.
yeah.
Okay, so you were a DJ, even though your DJing is on pause. Like, what
Yes.
made you start your DJ career?
Ah, a friend of mine, I've been in the nightlife industry for quite a while. I wouldn't call it industry in the beginning. I love to go out. I love socializing, and then eventually people were like, "Okay, you love music and you're out always at night. Do you want to DJ? We can teach you." I was like, "Oh, interesting. Okay, let's do this." But you know what? You know what I really remember about that time when I decided I want to learn this. I told myself, okay, let's dive headfirst, 100% all in. 3 months, let's learn this, and then let's put ourselves out there. And that's what I did. It's a nice reminder now, actually hearing myself say that, because there was a very distinct decision. Out of curiosity, I said, okay, I'm gonna invest this much time. It's not really easy to learn DJing if you're not um patient enough. The learning curve in the beginning is quite tricky, but once you're familiar with it, it gets really fun. So having to do that in the first 3 months, and questioning, oh, am I really gonna learn this? Am I gonna get the hang of it? And you just keep doing it and doing it. And even before I was ready, I put myself out there. I was like, okay, I want a gig, even if my beat matching was really shitty. I was like, I just want to, you know. I'm like, I want to go. I want to do it already. Oh, that's a nice reminder hearing myself say that.
I was
Yeah.
gonna, point it out to
I
it about your
know.
project.
Exactly. That's really nice. That's really cool. Yeah. It's a nice reminder that hoy, you can start. Doesn't have to be perfect. You can just start.
Mm.
Yeah.
This podcast is far from being perfect or even ready to launch, but I've always, I mean, not always, I tried doing the podcast before. It didn't really go well, but I felt like I like creating content. I like talking a lot, and that's I think my strong point. And sometimes when I record, for example, if it's a Q&A video on YouTube, it's hard to sit through 40 minutes of a person trying to come up with an answer, right? So I feel like a conversation is easier to listen to. So I think the format of a podcast is what I really like.
Okay.
I used to be streaming too, right? So I miss that. I miss, just being able to talk for hours and not, edit it for a YouTube video
Mm.
or an Instagram video.
Yeah, that's the difference. I think that's what I like about streaming as well. It's you have it's kind of it was therapy for me. I was talking to my mom and I told her, I can put myself through a lot of thing activities, but when the stakes are high and what it means to have the stakes high, it's very subjective. It's only based on what I how I define it. So it's interesting because having to sing on a live stream, having to put myself out there so vulnerably, talking about mental health, anxiety, well-being to other people, that could be something really hard to do. And for me, it comes naturally to just do that and document it. But now with this project that I'm doing, I it's like analysis paralysis. It has to be perfect. It has to, and then there's so much irrational fear that comes up and comparison as well. So, yeah, it's interesting having to talk about DJing and it's interesting having to be reminded that I just made a decision and I'm like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
in 3 months I'm going to do this and I'm going to put myself
Mm-hmm.
out there regardless of whether I'm ready or not.
I don't think you have to be like 100% ready. It's another thing that I've learned is that you can wait forever for it to launch and then wait forever for it to be perfect, but then you can just start doing it and figure out your mistakes by, you know, on like practically on, you
Pragmatically,
know,
practically,
prag-
yeah.
uh, practically. I think like you launch it, you see some mistakes and errors, and then you fix it as they go. So yeah, I think it's just important to start doing something and then figure it out while you're figuring it out. You know what I mean?
It's it's such a tricky thing and I don't know, it was such a foreign thing to me before and I resented people who would tell me good is good enough or progress over perfection because I would
Mm-hmm.
always chase excellence and I would always justify me having to have a being, not late, but starting, making sure that everything is perfect. But
Why does it have to be perfect?
it's a standard that I put on myself, and I'm realizing it's an unrealistic.
Is it helpful to you?
No, it's not. It's not. It's not fun. It's not fun. And for me, because of this pandemic and because of the lessons that this you just realize what's important to you is living. Don't forget to live. And
Mhm.
if it's not fun, why are you doing it? So
Right.
because of that, I am really reassessing every day. It's not an immediate realization just because you realize it this minute. Later on, if you scroll on social media again and you see someone doing it better, you're gonna say, oh, I can't launch it, or I can't do this because it needs to be as good as what I saw. It's that.
Mhm.
So you have to remind yourself every time you have an emotional hiccup, what's important right now? Are you
Mhm.
having fun? And you have to put that first if you're having fun, because what's the point if you're not?
I think, yeah, I agree. I think another good perspective is like, I think we're kind of used to whatever we're doing being perfect, whatever it is, job, hobby, right? It has to be, perfect. We forget that the fun of it, like when we treat it as a game, like we're just playing. Because I've had a sort of like an insight. I was laying down in Shavasana. I think it was a yin yoga class. So it's, if you're not familiar with yin yoga, it's kind of like more relaxing yoga. You stay in um, positions longer for like 5-10 minutes in one position, and you just breathe. And yeah, embrace the feelings. And then that also was, and then that was accompanied by sound healing, is, like singing bowls and then all the wonderful different instruments. And I was like laying down, I was thinking about how to present my Instagram feed, as in like, how do I show people as much as I can what is it I do and who is that person, right? Like, because I do so many things, like what you said in the first version of the
I
podcast.
know. Can you chop it? How I wonder if you're able to like chop up the best parts of, and you'll see it
I'll
like,
try. I'll try.
hi.
So it's like,
Oh no, yeah.
I'll try. So it makes sense. So, um, what you said, like I do so many things. So how do I show people, like, so they get not like the best or 100% impression of who I am as a person, but at least a good idea, a good, you know, peek into the kind of person that I am. And I was like, oh, I do yoga. And then you can't really see it from my Instagram feed. Like, can you tell that I'm doing yoga, right? So I was like, okay, so I need to take a good picture like that shows me in some pose, right? And then I was like, I've been doing it, like I started doing yoga during the pandemic when it started, since like March last year, something like that, or maybe April. And then I realized I was doing it more for self discipline,
Mm.
and just to stretch myself in the morning, nothing too crazy. I mean, I'm kind of like justifying myself, but I was just having fun with it. And then it came to me that I don't have to take a picture with like a crazy pose, me in a crazy pose like a crow or whatever, right? Like a uh, headstand,
Mm.
if I'm not able to do it. And then I'm like, I forgot that I don't have to excel in every single thing that I do. I can
Yes.
just, have fun with it. And like, if it benefits me in a way that it benefits me in just, stretching myself in the morning, and, that's, I was doing it for more for self discipline, because I'm very, undisciplined.
Oh wow,
So
at
it's
that
hard. It's
rate,
hard.
you're the rate you're going, you still call yourself undisciplined. Interesting. But yeah, that's such a good reminder, because I have to remind myself now, and it's a powerful statement. If there was one life that you could change and that life was yours, that would be enough. So even on your postings, it's like, who are you trying to who are you? I mean, that's a kind of a harsh question, but who are you trying to please? And that's also a reminder about social media and how much it kind of, if you're not careful, if you're not mindful about how you're participating in it, you can easily get carried away, and even your experiences get what's that? Not devalued. Your experiences
Like,
get, you know, because now you want the perfect pose, or you want the yeah, you want to do, you want to represent it, you want to capture a representation of what you're doing, but sometimes it's just capture it in its most raw form. And that was a
mhm.
reminder for me as well. That's why, shout out to Instagram for removing the likes number. So
Yeah, you
now,
can still see it,
yeah,
but
you could, I mean, I can still see it, but having, I had to analyze it as well. Oh, I can still see it, so it's kind of, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it.
but yeah, even not being able to see the likes on other people's posts helps you not to compare
Yes.
yourself.
And
Yeah.
it's you start looking at the person as a whole. You start looking at the collection of photos instead of that one photo that gets 1,000 likes. Now you scroll at a handful of photos and see, oh, wow, interesting. And you see that person as a body of work instead of that
Mhm.
singular post.
Oh, I have another great, story because I go to therapy on and off. Uh, I mean, like, on request, I guess. Like, if I have something I want to discuss, I'll go, but it's not, once a week or, anyways. And that I was struggling with, um, um, putting myself out there in a way as a therapist, for example, as in like offering a
Okay.
service of therapy, not psychotherapy, as in like I don't have a diploma, so I can't. I think legally I can't do that, but I can do coaching or like other things, right? And then it's true that we're our worst enemies in a way because I'm like, people see me as this vlogger who's like goofy, and then I also like model, and then I travel, and then how do I tell them that now I do therapy too, right? That now I help people in another way.
Mm.
And then she said that, like, just, I mean, she's fine. I she's amazing, first of all. And then she was like, "Well, that's a good question. How maybe I should ask you that." Because I was like, "That's funny. I have like 200,000 people following, and how do I put myself out there?" She's like, "You can just record a video and tell the world, like, hey, I do this and this and this, and now I do that too. So if you want, like, you can schedule an appointment with me." And then I was like, but they see me as a vlogger or like model and like this and that. And she's like, well, it's good that you're not just a cover, but a whole book. So, and that was like insightful for me. Like, yeah. And then it's good that with social media, we get to choose how we present ourselves too. So, what I realized, it's gonna take me a few posts to like establish myself as a expert in a certain area. Let's say a few photos of me in yoga poses, and then people will see me as a yogi.
Mm.
And then, I mean, like, I don't, I'm not saying that just two photos is enough to establish myself as a therapist, but
Yeah.
like, it's in my power to show them that I'm not just a cover, I'm a whole book.
True. And books have pages.
Right.
So just create,
Chapters.
yeah, books have pages and chapters and words and dots and symbols to just keep on like inching, just keep on inching away. And I think that's also as much as the power of social media, or what you said, like you can control the content, the amount that what you can create and curate what you put out there. At the same time, we have to be also mindful not for that to be the crutch. Let's say I realized if somebody asks a, a Miss Universe question, let's say a beauty pageant question, if somebody asks you, if you were given $1 million, what would you do with it and why? But in that very moment, let's say you don't have the answer. You don't have to formulate the perfect answer. You can just say,
Hmm.
wow. You can just say as it is. Wow. That caught me off guard. I don't know what $1 million looks like. Even just saying that actually connects you more than having to say, oh no, I need the
Come up
cook.
with the perfect answer.
Yes, I need to come up with the perfect answer. So I feel like even that, just putting yourself out there and saying I blog, and then now I'm exploring this, and if you would like to be part of that journey, yeah, I'm excited. I'm curious what you I could be your guinea pig for that if you want a test
Do you want
for
to?
coaching. I could, yeah, definitely we could schedule like 30-minute
Okay.
powwows and be like, okay, and then you tell me, yes, this is options of what you could do. It really helps though. I'm That's when you realize that, you know, what I forgot, if we were the ones who were talking about it. No man is an island. It's like as much as
Mm.
we, oh, I'm not, yeah, I remember it wasn't you, but as much as we live and die alone, which is kind of morbid, it's sad.
So that's
It's
true.
kind of, yeah, it's
Well,
the
I mean,
little prince. It's the little prince of everyone's life. It's like the
mhm.
solitude, you know. But at the same time, the duality of it, or the spectrum of it that we don't understand but we can just humbly accept, is while we're alive and while we're in this life, how beautiful it is that you can reach out to another person and ask for help, you know, and there's blind spots that other people can help you with.
Oh, that too. Yeah, that's true.
And
I
therapy.
like, yeah. You've done therapy too. Have you gone to therapy?
Yes.
Okay. How's it going for you?
It's been powerful. It's been powerful, and at the same time, uh it opened me up to the world of asking for help.
Mm.
Just ask,
Oh yeah.
you know, talk to people when you hit a roadblock, just open yourself up. And it's a task for your ego, because there's certain people that you don't want to ask for help. I was one of them. It's like, no, I can figure this out. I can figure this out on my own. I don't need to ask for help. I don't need to even ask for tips or advice. But now it's like, ooh, I wonder what insight they could give me. So now it's like, yeah, the reframe.
I think that's also like where perfectionism stems from. Like, I can't ask for people's help. Or like selfishness, or not trusting the world or other people in a way that I'm the only one who can do it right. No one else can help me. Like, and then there puts a lot of pressure on your shoulders, where in fact you can reach out and then ask for people's help, or
Yeah,
delegate, or
not
yeah.
trusting the world, exactly. And I was talking to my mom about it. I was like, oh my gosh, trauma just rears its ugly head sometimes when you when I experience challenges, and it brings me back. It keeps on bringing me
Mhm.
back. And then she said something, sometimes you don't need to address it. You just need to do the things that you need to do for the day. Just like, oh nga naman. Y- They're just things that will be there. Childhood traumas, you can't go back literally and change it. And you don't need to address it every moment it pops up. You just need to acknowledge it and say, like, well, yep, that happened. And then get going with what you're doing.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
be like, oh my god, see, I was traumatized in my childhood and now I have to process it every time. It's like, no.
No, I think what I learned that was like defining moment too is that realizing, oh, that's not my reaction to what's happening right now. It's just a trigger to my childhood trauma. And then you just, I mean, it's fine. You can cry about it in the moment, or like you can put it kind of aside and then come back to it later when you have time and resources, right? So, like, for example, when you're in the middle of doing a certain task and then you just can't simply break down in the moment, right? It's just, you know, acknowledging that, okay, this is trauma speaking. I'll get back to you
Ah,
later. Or like just realizing that it's not your reaction to what's happening right now, but something triggered your, learned response or defense mechanism. And then that's it. You're like, oh, that's not about it right now. It's about what happened before.
Yay! I needed to hear that. Yeah, I needed to hear that because I woke up and then that was exactly what was going on. And yeah, that's why it's so powerful to talk about it or to put it out there, because then you hear different insights. And yeah, just even hear like, this is trauma speaking. I'm like, oh, I know. That's right. That's exactly what we.
And then you mentioned you wanted to talk about the generalized anxiety. Yeah.
Yeah. uh I notice, people put off what actually is most important to them. That includes me, because this is what you said. I think that this one, you said this, avoidant procrastination,
Mm.
because you're afraid of what hasn't even happened yet. And I feel like a lot of people are actually going through this, even with social anxiety. you know you just don't want to put yourself in the situation where something could happen emotionally, physically, and it hasn't even happened yet, but your mind is already creating, situations for you. And uh yeah, it's been a trip to be aware of that, or to call it out.
Mm.
And it's also been a trip to realize, okay, you can call it out and you can say, yep, there it goes, there it is again. But exactly what you said, hello, this is trauma speaking. And it's just, okay, that's your childhood automatic response. And now, what is the task at hand? What do you need to do today? And
Right.
just go.
And then
Yeah.
I think with therapy is like learning how to address your emotions and being like okay with them and not dying, or like realizing that it's not going to kill you, that like you can handle it even if it's like rejection, because I know it gets, for example, stuck in the body, or it will, yeah, get in the way of your life, right? As in what we discussed like the other day about the avoidant procrastination. Like, I'm avoiding doing this task because I'm afraid of being rejected, or I'm afraid of this unpleasant feeling of failing. And then, so like the first step is uh acknowledging, right, that you have like a certain problem or something. And then the second one's kind of, being able to sit with it and be okay with it, and handle rejection and not um, avoid it, because it's gonna happen.
Yeah, just say, I mean, just having to be aware or acknowledge it. And then the thing is, people already know what they need to do, even in just the simplest task.
Yeah.
And acknowledging, that there's fear of rejection, failure, embarrassment, looking stupid, people not listening, not getting the attention, anything, all the fears that you could think of, acknowledging that, and then just doing the task, just still inching through what you got to do. And it's seriously just it sounds easier said, but
No, I know. I'm like,
that's really what you got to do. You just got to check your list. Just go through, just even write down the smallest things. And I've heard this a handful of times in, interviews about getting things done. And it's really just breaking it down. What is the smallest thing you can do today? Even just three small things you can do today, and then inch at it every day instead of, you know, instead of trying to solve the invisible trauma or the invisible thing, just inch away at what you can do. And yeah, it's a daily practice. It's a daily practice.
yeah,
I'll let you
sure.
know. I'll let you know in a week.
Okay. Oh, you're launching this week. Do you want to talk about your project?
I, yes, I, I am very passionate about shifting the awareness of people and shifting our, not even shifting, just reminding us again of live that we live in a planet on this little blue dot, and it's not, we are not really as almighty, and climate change is real, but it's not about whether climate change is going to happen or not. It's whether if it's going to be bearable for us while we're here. So we can actually do things so that should the temperature or should weather changes happen, it's not going to be that, it's going to be manageable for us through simple lifestyle changes, that could, that could change also the way industries function. Oh man, yeah. It just, like it changed how, and no, I was just gonna go into that. I had to stop myself because that's gonna sound like a soapbox, and that's why we should change the world one little step at a time by the decisions we make and by stopping using straws. No, it's not about. It's just about,
No,
yeah.
that's fine. I mean, like we haven't been doing the best job and not being like we haven't been aware about the imprint or what's the word that we leave behind, right?
Footprint.
Footprint, yeah, imprint,
Yeah.
footprint. And yeah, what you said is like comes back to mindfulness and then just being aware of what we're doing and like, do we really need another plastic bag
Yeah, I think it's
when we're grocery shopping?
because if you really look at it from the bird's eye view, we're imposing it on other people or outside. The decision is always on the outside factor instead of ours. Like, with regards to plastic, oh, it's biodegradable, it's okay, or they should make paper straws. It's always they, or the onus or the responsibility is taken out of our hands. And this project that I'm doing, it's just like this humble online digital existence where I just want to put things out there which remind us, hey, you know what? We might not be zero waste or a minimalist, but the decisions we make every day really, really can impact. And it goes back to what I said earlier. If there was one life you could change and that life was yours, that is enough. That is enough. So even just um, making the decision, or um, when we say, I want to be mindful about my consumption, that doesn't necessarily have to mean I'm going to buy pants from a sustainably sourced brand. It just means if I buy pants, am I going is it I want to make sure that this pants lasts, or I want to make sure that the purchase, is quality or meaningful. instead of just buying and buying and buying and buying. And yeah, which is, I feel like, a tricky actually task to do because of all the social media, all the online stores and all the promos and everything, which encourages us to buy. So yeah.
There is another side to this. As someone who can get carried away, when I learned about minimalism, I've just, I checked your page the other day, and then you're like, I get obsessed with the idea in a way, and I got rid of a lot of clothes, and then I bought them again. No, I mean, like, I usually wear something for years, but then now it's hard. For example, like being an online presence, that you're wearing the same clothes over and over, and there's like, oh, it needs to change. I would uh, ideally, I know it's not possible at the moment, but I'm really fine with light travel.
Mm.
It's just like two tops, two shorts, I'm fine. But
Yes.
now I have this huge suitcase,
Ah, okay, I get
but there's not a lot of clothes in it. No, but then, as in, I got to, I wanted to make a difference, or I wanted to, okay, like I did too much. I felt guilty
it. Mm.
for buying new clothes. And then the thing is, you have to be just mindful, like, and just question, like, do I need it or not? And then instead, I was just like, guilty. I need it, but I feel bad because, like, you know, you've seen the movie on Netflix, right?
Yes, Confessions of a
The cost.
Shopaholic. I know.
No, no.
I thought I was like, yes.
True.
Oh, I
The true
haven't
cost.
seen that. True
Oh, you
Cost. I
haven't.
haven't.
That changed my perspective. It's like about uh, um, the industry of producing clothes, and how much clothes really cost, and how much they're sold for, and how many, like the seasonal fashion or something like that. It's just fast fashion.
Yeah.
And then it's like a top would cost like 20 cents, like dollar cents, and they would sell it for $20. And then
Crazy.
the conditions that the what's the industry called of producing clothes? I forgot. So, anyways, their conditions are horrible. So they make barely like $200 a month, or maybe even $100 a month, and then just unbearable.
Yeah, and that's when I really hope, inching at, managing this generalized anxiety or whatever, the fear of rejection, avoidant procrastination, all having to having to be mindful about my well-being and not feeling overwhelmed while launching this project is also what minimalism and sustainability is all about, because it starts with you. Like, emotionally, are you able to handle all the projects that you're doing, like the spiritual clutter, the emotional clutter? We have to be um thoughtful about it, and then having to show it as well in our lifestyle decisions. um so the project that I'm doing, just showing how little things you could do, and showing even the decision or the thought process, like, hey, I want to be more mindful about the way I um fill my closet with clothes, and then asking yourself what's important, or what do you really need. And as a DJ, yeah, there's something about representing yourself fashionably, but at the same time, I'm realizing, if the light in your eyes and the energy and how you show up will always trump even just wearing a plain t-shirt and jeans,
Yeah.
to your. So um yeah, when it comes to, it's sad about fast fashion, but I think we're also putting the responsibility again. We're externalizing the responsibility. I feel like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter whether it's from a sustainable um brand or whether it's from a multi-billion-dollar brand, if you're consuming it mindfully, and a lot of people, if we change how we consume, hopefully the industry is gonna follow suit. And oh my gosh, I sound like an idealist, but hopefully.
Nothing wrong with that.
I know, otherwise, can you imagine? Yeah, I haven't seen True Cost, but I can imagine what it's saying and how much, if we're producing 1 million plastic bottles of waste a minute, I can only imagine how much textile waste we're producing. And I'm going to call it out, how people behave on social media. And even during the pandemic, they're like, I don't know if you noticed this, people were like, ano yun, leave the wallet, leave my credit card because I'm just buying and buying online. I forgot the expression, but there was an expression that became um uh current during the pandemic, where people were just like, buying and buying and buying, and it just became this in joke. And I'm like, it's not actually a joke. Like, why are you doing this? What is pushing you to just buy? It's like, what is this invisible necessity?
the lack the lack of emotions, the lack of interaction with people can lead you to shopaholism, shopaholicalism.
What is
Shop-
enough? What is enough?
yeah,
What is
it's
enough?
like substitution, I would say, of like what you're really lacking.
Like, why do you need that other top? Or why do you need, I mean, yun nga, self-expression is one thing, but at what cost? So that's where you just, everyone, I will really want to encourage everyone, even myself, to always ask what your intentions are, or what your priorities are, and to really involve um looking at yourself as like a part of a whole, which is the earth, the planet, and our society. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So is it gonna be like an online page or a site, a website?
I am inviting all the viewers to send support and creative energy and confidence, so that I can kind of, send good vibes to, so we can build this movement or awareness. It's going to be it's starting right now as an Instagram and Facebook um digital existence, but I do want to create more content and try to cover YouTube as well. I have no idea how much energy and time that's gonna take, so that's why I asked, even before I answered it, that's why I asked, like, any viewer that wants to send me energy and like, you can do it, and moral support, just send it over. Just send over that energy and good vibes, because I feel like it's gonna be a massive undertaking. Yeah, but
What's the
I want to create content for all the platforms that I can reach, and just put it out there. I also want it not to sound like a soapbox thing. I really want to cover, the journey of decision making, and how it's imperfect, and how you can make mistakes, but you just try and keep going and keep trying to be mindful and thoughtful. Yeah.
What's the name of the project? Where can we find you?
It's 101 Little Ways on Instagram and Facebook. 101l.i.l.ways. But of course, the dots are not there. It's low impact lifestyle.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay, we'll put a link in the description so
Yes,
they can find
please.
you easily.
Yeah.
And then you're streaming on Kumu. There's a
Yes. I
Filipino app.
Yeah, so there's this.
If more people want to uh, pop into your stream and join the conversations that are important,
Yes, I stream on Kumu. It's this. It's a Pinoy developed app which is gaining really international attention and traction. My
Pinoy
username,
means Filipino,
huh?
by the way. For Pinoy means Filipino for people who are not from the
Okay,
Philippines.
yes. So the viewers or listeners, Pinoy is short for Filipino. It's a Filipino app. My username there is Kailand in the description.
Yes. I'll try to put it on the screen as well, so it's easier.
Yay!
Yay. Anything else you want to talk about or mention?
So I'm on Kumu as Kailand, and of course 101 Little Ways on Instagram and Facebook, and then my personal social media is Welcome to Kailand on IG and Facebook as well. Wish me luck, because I also want to explore opening the channel on YouTube.
YouTube. You can ask for, you know, advice, guidance.
Yeah,
Good
that's
luck.
Thank you.
Totally. When are you launching?
So Welcome to Kailan on YouTube. I have no idea. I just want to start recording and
Your secret unpatented project. When is it gonna?
101 is already up. The Instagram and Facebook pages are already up. So for people who are listening or viewing this, please do check it out. Click the follow button and yeah, join in the journey because it's rough around the edges, but yeah. Hope you guys support.
There's gonna be physical 101 little way, right? That they can purchase.
Yes. So right now we're starting with introducing composting to more people here in the Philippines. I think I mean, that's the thing with composting. It's a natural, it's not, it's actually, uh, we actually do it. Like people in the province, when you have kitchen scraps, peels, and waste, it's very familiar, common to dig a ditch and, throw your organic waste there. But of course, in the city, it's very sad that we don't have access to just land that we could do that. So we're bringing this we're bringing composting to the urban setting by facilitating it in compost pots. In India they do that and it's called kamba, the pots, kamba. And in the Philippines, I don't know, I want to figure out like a term of endearment or a Filipino word for the compost pots. But yeah, we're check out the page for people in the Philippines. You can actually purchase the compost pots on the page, so you can start your composting journey.
101 little ways. Yeah.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
exciting.
Huh?
That's exciting. I think when we started, talking, being friends, and then you introduced me to the idea, and then I was like, I had no idea about this. And then our mutual friend, they already do it on their farm, right? Aryan.
Yes, actually. So yeah, in rural settings, it's a familiar thing. It's a common thing, and I just want to remind people about it. It's interesting that, and even kids now who grew up in the city aren't familiar with even certain things that were just a way of life before. And I just want to bring it back and remind people, hey, you know what? Hello. Isn't it unsettling that to look for soil in the city, so you have to even buy soil? So yeah.
Yeah.
It's
That's
It's crazy.
The
Soil.
world
And in the
we live
province,
in.
it's like where I grew up. You throw an avocado seed, like, avocados, and it's like throw it over the fence. And then 4 years later, you have a small tree growing.
An avocado.
Yeah, or mango.
How was it like growing up in the province?
It was wonderful. Oh my gosh, if there's an opportunity for parents now to just expose their kids to that kind of life, they should. Or even if you live in the city, just keep that connection to nature alive in whatever way. Flying kites, making tree houses, um, playing in the streets, looking at poking caterpillars. Don't kill them, just check them out.
I just what you said, like playing on the streets, and then immediately the image of Manila popped up.
Oh man, but you know what? That's
No, that's cool too. Like I saw that all the time. You're just like I used to live in Mandaluyong, right? So you go on what's that? Not Coronado, San Francisco Street, and then there's just like kids playing, and that was you just like turn to the small alley, and then they're just running around and playing, and
that's what's
riding
given me.
bikes.
Yeah, that's what's given me uh, solace during this lockdown. Hearing the kids downstairs, because I can hear it from my building here. There's a street at the back of the building where kids are playing, and it grounds me in the reality and the innocence of kids not being aware of what adults are having to go through, worrying about money and uh not being
Like
able to.
worry free.
Yeah, and they're just playing outside. There's restrictions, there's strict restrictions, and yet the street behind my building is filled with kids playing outside. And I don't know, it's cool. Like, to another person they would say like, "Oi, it's lockdown, people shouldn't be outside, kids should be," but for me it's like, kids will be
Yeah.
kids, and life will still, you just gotta strive to thrive. Just gotta live it. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's better than just staying on your phone when you're a kid, when you want
Yeah.
to play and just explore the world. That's kind of what I said about, and like I shot my first IGTV video yesterday because I got excited because like one of the followers on Instagram, she said I was doing like one of those Q&As, and then she asked about like she said, "Oh, Ate, I'm 23. Now, how do you get so independent? How did you get so independent? I'm 23 and I'm afraid to travel." And then I asked, like, what exactly are you scared of? And then she kind of explained that growing up in a Filipino family where like all decisions are made for you, and um, like you not necessarily having a right to your own opinion and choice, right? To decision making. And then I got excited, and then I was like, oh, my favorite subject, psychology. And then I was like, give an example about like at a certain age, around like 3 years old, like kids. Well, I mean, like from young age, they like to explore the world and touch subjects and taste it, and then like it's natural for kids, that's how they explore the world. It's curiosity, that's what drives us too as adults to explore. And that, yeah, that's a natural uh what's the word, quality of kids, to like be worry free and then just run around and explore.
Yeah.
That I remember when I lived in, yeah, Mandaluyong, and then you just open the window and then you can hear the kids, and then on Sundays it was karaoke.
Oh man.
I lived on the 19th floor, and I could hear it at night or like in the evening Sundays.
Sometimes
Ugh.
sometimes it's comforting, but sometimes it's just, huh. But yeah, it's nice. I feel like those are the things. If I was in another country, I would be missing that, because that's very, the hustle and bustle of Filipino
Oh, I miss
life,
it so much.
right? The smell of barbecue or isaw or quick quick,
Oh my
the carts in the afternoon. So
traumatizing. I miss it so much. Ever since I left for Bali, I wasn't able to come back. I mean, like there was a moment in time where a ticket cost like $400, and I was like, no way.
yeah.
And then I missed the opportunity, and then it's been closed ever since. People keep messaging me like, "Oh, foreigners are allowed to go," and then I get hopeful and excited, and then I check, and then it's just like with certain requirements that I don't fall in, or like the category that I
Yeah.
don't fall in.
Yeah. Man, if only, but soon. Soon, soon, soon. Throwing it out there to the universe.
I hope so.
Yeah. So yeah, I like your background.
Ah, thank you. That's what kept me sane, actually. Just, seeing, like, I don't necessarily swim in the pool. You can see, like, the pool there. I swam once, and I've lived here for, like, in this villa for 1 month. Just having a body of water nearby, and then some, plants, is just like, being able to go out of the room. That's what I think. I consider myself lucky being, considering everything,
Yeah.
the position I'm in and was during the pandemic.
You've been moving around a lot, so
Yeah,
which is
that
interesting.
was the whole time. It was like pretty mild. I mean, still like masks and sanitizing everything, but still, that was I was able to go to like a waterfall, which was, that wouldn't happen if I was in the Philippines. But now it's like less. I mean, like people go out now, right?
Yes, it when you go to the mall here, it feels like there's no restrictions apart from having to have a face mask and the shield. So, which is
The shield.
interesting. I know the shield is just the face mask. I feel like I'm actually going to keep um even, I mean, a year from now, I can imagine we might really have a more uh lenient, I wouldn't say lenient, we might have lesser restrictions, but I feel like I'm still gonna bring that, maybe a cotton or a cloth mask, just for yeah.
That was before living in Manila. I saw people wearing
Already
masks
wearing,
all the
right?
time
Yeah. So yeah.
because of you know the air in Manila.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm still gonna bring, but it's still, yeah, just just having to.
Traffic. Whew. I miss that.
It's back. Traffic is back.
It is.
Is back.
Mm.
But yeah, that's why I feel like having to launch 101 little ways and just being consistent in content creation and just inching away at, the things I gotta do and want to do, even with the fears and anxiety, is more important. Yeah, because what else do we do? What else do we do? Chase cars? No, we just have to,
Everything.
everything. We gotta conquer the world. Yeah. No, it's just
Yeah, chill.
doing the things. Yeah, doing the things I love. Doing the thing. What's important is I'm doing things I love, and I forgot what you said earlier, but it really, just not forgetting that it's fun. And yeah.
Life is a game.
Yeah, and then gamifying it, because ultimately,
Having fun.
yeah, just having fun. Yeah.
All right. I think that's. Oh my god, the internet has been consistent. It's been an hour. So.
High five, internet.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yay.
We have 20 minutes on the first one. We got another 15 on the other one, and maybe 30, and then an hour here. So yeah, I feel like there's material.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's the first ever episode, so apologies if it's not perfect. Well, I mean, it wasn't planned to be perfect, really. It was just, my vision was to just have fun with
Yeah.
people and have honest conversations. And yeah.
It's so cool. Yeah, but every man, it's so cool. It's so cool when you open it, when you open yourself up to asking, even not people, even just energy, just putting it out there and just asking like help. And the second part about learning how to ask is learning how to listen. So having
Oh,
to be receptive, it's like I threw it out there. I first of all throwing it out there by crying in bed, and then secondly throwing it out there by having a call with my mom and just asking for help in articulating, putting it into words what I was feeling, and then just listening. It's so interesting because yeah, a message just came in from someone um putting herself out there selling real estate. You know, that's a lesson. Like, here you go, this is how it's done. Sometimes you just put yourself out there, write that note, like write that message, put yourself out there. And then you when we started this call, you're saying like, oh, you know what, I'm actually not ready, the intro is not even done, I'll record it later on, but I just wanted to start. And I'm just like, man, what a way for the universe to show me, see, here, you scared, boo, you scared, are you scared? Well, see, look at how other people are doing it. They're just doing it because they want to do it already. If you want an example, let me show you. Here you go.
that was an important lesson that I wanted to learn and that I hope I did. That I like talking, but learning how to listen was a journey for sure. That was my when I was in Russia. Like I just came there. I thought I was gonna stay there for a month to just renew my passport and just fix my papers, and then the universe showed me that sign because my therapist put out the uh, announcement that she's starting like this 7-month course on body therapy and psychotherapy, and I was like, I want to join. Like I've always been passionate about it, and then I was like, okay, and I stayed for I think 6 months. Yeah, and then like the first gathering, the first lecture, the first meeting that we had, we like introduced ourselves, and then that's what I said. I was like, I've always been talking. I want to learn how to listen now. That was
Yeah. And then another part of learning how to listen, which is, man, it's so interesting, is learning how to ask the right questions. And yeah, it's been a trip having to realize, am I asking the right questions? So, yeah.
yeah. I don't think the question just it doesn't have to be verbal. See, like you had this doubt, and then the universe just came up with so
I
many examples. So
know. It's like, here, people are
there you
doing,
go.
yeah. Like it does happen, Kai, that even if you're before you're ready. Look.
See,
Okay,
Wilfred is
Wilfred.
supporting you.
You. So yeah.
Well, I think that's enough for the first
High
episode.
five.
Like an hour and a half.
Riverside
Thank you, Khai.
FM. Good job, Riverside. I might use you as
Thank you.
well. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
This is for free?
Yeah,
You
I
just
think so.
you just logged in, right? You created an account. And
Yeah,
then when you say save,
sign up.
it's like when you're saving it, like, please swipe your credit.
No, because I tried saving already.
And then you downloaded it and there's like a huge watermark. Riverside FM.
The one that we used before, there is a watermark, but then only when you combine two screens together. If it's just like if you do post production manually, then it's okay. Like it doesn't have a watermark. So,
Yeah. I'm
anyways,
assuming you're doing post manually. Have
let's not talk
fun.
about
Have fun. I did like a 1 minute video of, I'm not sure if you saw it. I did a 1 minute video on my social media of my interview with my mom, and I put captions on it, and I'm like, oh my god. But yeah, it's fun. It's just very tedious. It's tedious.
that. Yeah, when I got excited yesterday about the answering it fully, right? Yeah, it took me 4 hours because I wanted to do Um, to shoot it, it was about like 5 minutes, and then I kind of, trimmed it, put it together, edited it, and I was like, how do I make it, match into my feed, right? So I took a picture right there on the spot. Then my friend edited it, and then I uploaded it, and then 4 hours total, like the whole thing. That's what happens when you're excited about something.
Oh man, I'm kind of excited about launching, you know, getting to do video content on YouTube and Facebook. Since I've been live streaming, it's like it's almost, if I'm creating content live streaming, if I record that and chop it up and put it out
Yeah,
there.
that's the easiest way. I was gonna say that don't record separate videos for each platform. You just make one long and then chop it, and then you can put it out on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. Because like shooting separate videos for separate platforms is just time consuming and energy consuming.
True. So now I'm thinking maybe I could start Welcome to Kailand on YouTube. This is already advice section of the ano. I mean, I don't know if you want to include some of this, but
Sure.
I have replays of the Kumu. I have replays of my Kumu live streams. Maybe I could start there and create like content and put title, because I do topics, diba? Like even our video, we had a conversation about virtual
Chubby bunny.
relationships or the chubby bunny. I could chop it up.
That
I
was
wonder
fun.
if I have that video, but anyways, could chop it up and then and then create a video and put the title and then upload it on YouTube. So I already have like content.
Mhm.
Yeah, and now see the child brain is saying,
No, because you know what? Even if it's content that you already have, they you might gain some viewers that are like separate. I mean, a different audience. There's like different audience on TikTok, different audience on Instagram, YouTube. They're like different age gap, different interests. So even if it's the same kind of content, and then you just like put it up there.
post. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's why also I'm just gonna keep it at as Welcome to Kailan, because it's not a particular perspective. It's about what, like, Kailan's like, what I randomly,
Mm.
my quirks. So it's not, doesn't have to be limited to music or DJing and Wilfred and all that. It just, diba? It could be just because that's already what I'm thinking. I'm already creating roadblocks and like, oi, you gotta no, before you upload content, figure out what your YouTube channel is about. And I'm like,
Oh, just do it. You'll figure it out. Like
if I say it's all
trust the
about DJing,
process. No, just
then
like it's about me. I'm a
right?
multifaceted being. So I have interest in DJing, streaming, 101 little ways.
True. So I already have content. It kind of like warms it up that there's content on the page. Hopefully I could try. Yeah, let's see.
It's like you have to like turn down the perfectionist and you learn to have fun.
Dead.
Trust the world, trust the process.
Trust. Facts, bruh. Facts. Time for you
Okay.
to. Good job.
Okay, it's ending this podcast like for the third time.
Woo-oo. Woohoo.
Thank you. Pleasure seeing you on and listening to you on my first episode of Naked. Let's call it that. So Naked with Khai. You let me know how to, what do I put on the
Yeah. Sige. I will.
thumbnail. All right. Thank you guys for listening, and we will see you in the next episode. Bye, Khai. Bye,
Goodbye.
Wilfred. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Woo! Congrats. Okay, I'm pausing the recording. I hope it's. Imagine if everything hasn't recorded. That's gonna be